It is a great day to be alive in Pittsburgh, PA. Welcome into another edition of Kaboly and Mack alongside the legend himself, Kaboom, Mark Kaboly. I am Chris Mack. You can follow us on all your social media on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and make sure you're subscribed on YouTube because now it really gets interesting. The season is officially in the rearview mirror. Free agency is officially 1 month, 4 weeks away from today. We got the combine in between now and then. We got the draft after that. And this is the place to be because Kaboom will keep you informed. And I'll make sure he continues to try and pay attention to at least 50% of what I'm saying. And there's lots of other stuff going on too. Have you watched any of the Olympics yet, Mark? Not a second, have you?
About 1 minute of curling.
Why curling? You gotta find it on like a different channel. Why would you go with curling?
I don't know. It was on, and that was about wasted 1 minute of my life. I always wonder. I mean, how do you even say? You know what? When I grow up, I want to be a curler.
I don't know.
It's just. I mean, the Olympics wasn't it like based off of stuff. Real world stuff back 100, 200 years ago. What
Sure
the
it
hell
was.
do you need a curling for?
I don't know, but some people dig it. I don't watch any curling. I watched about 3 seconds of it the other day and then turned it over, and I think I saw some skiing. I was like, okay, that's
Yeah,
kind of cool. They're flying down a mountain at a gajillion miles an hour.
that's because you want to see some wiener shots.
What?
The
Excuse
injection.
me. Don't project, my friend. Okay.
Isn't there some kind of
No,
scandal going on with the wiener shots?
No, the wiener shots, I think, were the ski jumpers. I don't know if they competed yet. I wanted to see how Lindsey Vonn did, and obviously it didn't go well. So maybe I'm bad luck.
I wouldn't know. Would she crash?
Yeah, she crashed again. They had to airlift her off the mountain. Hopefully she's doing okay, but that might spell the end of that Olympic career. Super Bowl last night, obviously, we got to talk about it, and we will make it Steelers relatable as much as we can, because I think maybe, we did. I remember this episode in particular last year after the Eagles won and trying to maybe connect some dots between what we had seen the night before and the future for the Steelers. Because like we talk about all the time, any major professional sports league is copycat to a certain extent. So teams will try to find something in what the Seahawks did over the last year or few years and connect the dots to how they may succeed. I don't know if it's necessarily applicable to the Steelers in a lot of different ways, but I think it's worth talking about anyway. First of all, the game itself, I had a feeling that it would be close until it wasn't. And what I mean is eventually the Seattle defense was going to force Drake May into some mistakes, and they did just that. I think I said 31-13. I wasn't too far off. The Seattle defense, I mean, they ended up with 6 sacks. They forced May into multiple mistakes. One of them goes back for a touchdown. This is what you can do with a truly elite defense.
Yeah. Well, was that maybe 10, 11 years ago when Von Miller, I was at that game, Super Bowl 50, just absolutely dominated the Panthers, and the whole talk leading up to the next offseason, especially in the combine, was how to teams then recreate that ability to be able to wreck games just with defense. And for a couple of years, a lot of teams did do the copycat. Then you go back to the offensive scheme. Now, all of a sudden, it showed that you can win with some defense. And you look at Mike McDonald's staff. It's a bunch of old farts on that staff too, as well. So you look at it, you got a young and up and comer head coach, and you got a lot of veterans who've been around too, sprinkled in with some of the younger guys as well. So it's a very similar situation, similar but not at the top when it comes to how the Steelers are trying to put together their staff. So it's just I just don't feel that teams are going to look at what Seattle did and say, that's how we win Super Bowls. So let's change our whole mode of operation. Let's just go defense heavy. I don't think that's going to change. I think it's still offensive minded, and I think it'll stay that way.
I think it has to give you some hope, though, if you're a team, and I'm not saying the Steelers are this necessarily, because they're in a weird transition period with their defense where some of the big names are obviously older, but they do have young, I would hope, impact players coming up. You know, your Harmons, your Herbigs, guys like that, that Porter even, that you can win or get pretty deep in the playoffs at the very least without an all-world quarterback. And Sam Darnold has been a whole hell of a lot better the last couple of years than he was the first 5 years of his career. But I think he didn't have a great game last night. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Outside of the NFC Championship game, didn't really light the world on fire in the playoffs. And down the stretch, other than that fourth quarter and overtime against the Rams in Week 16, didn't light the world on fire. So I think if you have a defense that has building blocks all over, which the Seattle defense did, I think it gives you hope that, hey, we can have a quarterback who isn't necessarily tippy top of the elite, and we can still go out and win, and we can compete, not just compete, contend.
Elite coaching staff, elite defense, elite wide receiver, elite running game. All you got to do is make sure your quarterback can make that handful of big throws, not screw up the game. And I think that's what Darnold did over the past month or so. I mean, you don't need a guy to go out there and throw 300-400 yards every single game, but he has to have the ability to be able to do that as well. I think it just proves there's many ways of being able to win in the league. I mean, you can win defense, you can win offense, you can win special teams wise. I mean, look at the special teams last night with kickers, punters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a big part of the game as well. So I think the thought of this is an offensive league, this is a defensive league, it just doesn't apply all anymore. I think the best team, the best coach team, the most diverse team will be able to be the team that ends up winning. And I think that's what we saw last night. I mean, I don't think Seattle's on paper is not going to wow you, but when they get out on the field, they wow you.
Well, that defense has got a bunch of names on it, guys who are capable of making game-breaking plays really at any moment. I mean, Emenwari was a rookie and had a great game. You go through the list, right? Like their defensive line was made over a good bit in the last couple of years, so that helped as well. Like they're really strong up front, and they're really strong on the back end. The linebackers don't necessarily need to be the best in the world, but they were good as well. And you're able to force pressure on the quarterback, which forces him into mistakes. And as long as the coverage is more than just average on the back end, then you take advantage of those mistakes and those bad throws. Like DeMarcus Lawrence was in Dallas a little over a year ago, and bang, makes the move. He wins the Super Bowl. Byron Murphy's a first-round pick. Leonard Williams, a guy they got via trade a couple years ago, I think. Nwosu, the guy who had the return for the touchdown, another guy they picked up as a free agent. So they patchworked it together, but then the names on the back end like Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen and Emenwari, those are good cover guys, which means if you force the quarterback to hold onto the ball just a half second longer than he wants to, like we saw last night, he's going to be forced into mistakes, which Drake May's a second-year quarterback, so those mistakes are even more heightened.
Yeah. Everything you said.
Everything I said.
No, what I'm saying is we're back to the text messages.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, good night. Our boil water advisory is over.
Well, that's exciting. Because we were running out of bottled water in our house.
Yay, our boil water advisory is over. We can drink the water now.
Very exciting.
Did you just get the call or the text?
I didn't. No. I think my wife gets those. Hold on. Yep.
How about that?
No,
2 days. 2 days worth of that. I forget what you were saying. I was too happy that you can actually drink the water now.
Again, we're going to have to institute a rule that you
this is very important.
You would have seen it once we were done talking.
I think I might have drank some water because this morning was kind of iffy.
You did drink the tap water this morning?
I don't know, but
you don't know?
No, does it count if you use it for freaking brush your teeth or something?
I think that counts. It's like This is the rule we followed in our house the last couple of days. For those that aren't aware, aren't in the area, our neck of the woods, like southern Allegheny County,
It wasn't
most of it.
even near us either. It was like 50 miles away, I think.
No, it wasn't. It was right down the road. You
Was
talking
it?
about
I thought it was like
El
it was
Rama?
over a big span.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, a large portion of southern Allegheny. There was a water main break in El Rama, which is literally like 4 miles over the hill from us.
I thought it was El Rama.
El Rama is how it's pronounced. Get up with your TJ pronunciations. So there was a boil water advisory for like the last 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's been lifted now. So we're cool. We're clear.
Now,
the rule we followed in our house was, hey, remember how it was when we went on vacation to the Dominican and we weren't supposed to drink the tap water? Use bottled water for everything, brushing your teeth and drinking it. That was the rule we followed. So
now, if you have a water filter built into your refrigerator, does that count?
I don't think so.
Really?
We didn't drink the water out of the fridge either. We were straight
You,
bottled
I'm
water
not,
the last
I'm not
2
talking
days.
about what the Macs do. I'm talking about what's possible, what's capable.
We didn't want to be. We didn't want to spend a day and a half pooping ourselves, so we didn't mess around.
Thing. Okay, what are you drinking?
Coffee. I don't need an inadvertent cleanse.
Oh,
thanks to
well, you're
contaminated
drinking
water.
coffee.
What's wrong with coffee?
Well,
it's black coffee, like a real man drinks it. How much cream are you going to put in
Did you
there?
let it boil water for 2 minutes or whatever you're supposed to do?
I use bottled water.
Man.
Poured that bottled water in the coffee maker.
I'm really glad you care about the environment with drinking bottled water.
Excuse me, I recycle all the plastic. Don't give me any shit.
That's that one-use plastic, man.
Since when are you Mr. Earth Day?
I use the same vessel multiple times.
Using the same Dunkin' Donuts cup for 2 days does not
the same vessel.
Is not any better.
It is. It's not one use.
Okay. All right.
This is from Sheets, by the way.
The point I was making, by the way.
It's a thirst wrecker, by the way.
It's what?
It's a thirst wrecker from Sheets. I'm a big Sheets guy.
I know you are.
Big Sheets over Get-Go.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Just because it's closer to your house.
Oh, I think Get-Go's Sheets is but I buy gas at Get-Go. Does that make any sense?
Why would you make 2 stops?
Well, Sheets gas is out of control expensive. Get-Go, if you use
and just get your drink at Get-Go.
No, because Get-Go Sheets is a better option. I got to sneeze right now.
Then sneeze, please. Maybe it'll clear your brain just a little bit. Because we were talking about the Seahawks and their defense and how it's built pretty well from top to bottom.
Seahawks. All I know is Will Anderson was like, well, he must feel like a real dope. I will die to protect Drake May. Yeah, you gave up 14 freaking pressures yesterday. How embarrassing is that? I don't think I've ever heard that before in my life.
You mean Will Campbell?
What did I say? Will Anderson?
You said Will Anderson, yeah, who's the pass rusher from Houston.
Anderson, Campbell, all the same.
Will Campbell. Yeah.
14 pressures.
Yeah, he got absolutely rocked last night.
He got knocked on his ass. I mean, maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. Maybe the Patriots just weren't that good.
Oh, imagine that.
Maybe. I mean,
imagine that.
The Broncos team without their quarterback.
Imagine the people that pointed at their schedule for the last 2.5 months, pointing out that it was one of the softest, if not the softest in the league, may have actually had a point.
Flawed. They played a flawed Broncos team without their quarterback. They played a flawed Texans team that didn't have much of an offense.
Mm-hmm.
And they played Justin Herbert, Mr. MVP. And if you look, I mean, you've seen that tweet out there about all the opponents they've played this year. Like 80% of them either got fired or not with their team anymore. The head coaches, it's like crazy. Hey, maybe they're not that good.
So when the schedule comes out in May, are you still going to sit here and say it doesn't matter?
Yes, it does, because you don't know who's going to be good or not.
So it does matter.
So it doesn't matter. You just don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure you didn't pick Seattle and say, "Oh, this is going to be a good run right here." when the Steelers played in Ireland and New England and whatever, you probably didn't say, boy, they're going to win these 2-3 games right in a row. When you say, oh, they're going to go to Cincinnati, they'll lose this game. No, you didn't say that. You don't
What does
know.
that have to do with New England having a soft schedule?
Oh,
You're
I'm saying
losing.
is schedule in general, you don't know. It's when you play this team is
You could
more
look at it.
important than the team that you play.
I understand your point, but I don't think it's necessarily more important. It's an added
No.
variable. But if you go back and look at the beginning of the season to what the Patriots schedule looked like, it was ranked as one of the softest in the league. It was set up perfectly for Vrabel to take them from a 4-win team to a big improvement. I'll be honest, I didn't think it would be as improved as they were. I thought they'd be like an 8 or 9-win team at best, because that would still be a massive improvement over 4 wins. They ended up winning a lot more games because the schedule was even softer than it looked before the start of the season. And I think that's a good point. That had a lot to do with why they ended up there. I'm not taking anything away from New England and Drake May having a good second season and all that, but he clearly, maybe it was the shoulder injury, wasn't ready for everything Seattle was going to throw at him last night. Credit to Seattle's defense. Credit to Mike McDonald. They were ready to force Drake May into those mistakes, and it took until the second half, but that's when they really started to hit on it.
What are they saying in New England right now about Josh McDaniel? Where are the adjustments? There was no adjustments.
I don't know how you were going to adjust to what Seattle was
Well, you
doing.
do something more than just get your butt kicked by their defensive front.
They couldn't run. They couldn't throw the ball more than 7 yards downfield, although they completed a couple late in garbage time.
Your boy May missed a couple wide open guys. It could have been.
So that's my point. They didn't have an answer because they didn't have
a
the
lot of
weapons on
offensive
offense.
Weapons. You're right. You're right. They don't have a lot of weapons on. I mean, I still think they're in good position moving
they're in
forward.
very good shape going forward because they could go out and add some of those weapons, right? Like, you're not going to be talking about Mac Hollins as a starting wide receiver. Like, you're going to be able, and if they're smart, that's what they'll do, because I think their defense is set up pretty well. They just need to give their quarterback some weapons, much like the Steelers need to give their quarterback some weapons. Before we get into that, thanks to our good friends at Higgins Professional Painting. We appreciate them supporting the program. You need to get something done before spring gets here. They're the ones to get it done. Interior painting, exterior painting. Once the weather does get a little bit nicer, they'll do it all. They'll come in for a color consultation like they did at Kaboom's house. They'll do the drywall repairs if you need those done before they do a fresh coat of color all over the inside of your house. Give everything a nice, clean, new look. Same can be done on the outside. Plus, they do commercial and industrial as well. They've been doing it for 40 years here in the Pittsburgh area. Some true pros who know exactly what they're doing and do a great job. So if you need any kind of painting done, Higgins Professional Painting, the place to go, higginsprofessional.com, or give them a call to schedule that free estimate, 412-344-0480. So, what's the path forward for the Steelers, Kaboom? What you made a good point, I thought, earlier when I was talking about, well, defense can win championships still. We saw it with Seattle this year. You brought up that Denver team of 10 years ago. We go in these cycles where every once in a while we get a defensive first team pop up and win a Super Bowl. But maybe that's not still the one clear plan. You can still win with offense first, obviously. Look at the Chiefs multiple times over the last 10 years. Look at the Eagles last year, although their defense was pretty solid as well. What if you asked Mike McCarthy and Omar Khan today, how do you want to win Super Bowl 61? Because we know they think, like every team does right now, that their goal is to go win a Super Bowl a year from now. What do you think they would tell you about what their strategy is for winning a Super Bowl?
Oh, come on. Their whole strategy is having both offense and defense playing well, right? I think they like where they're at, where their defense is. I think they just realize that they need to upgrade and get better on offense. Maybe you need some tweaks on defense, obviously, and you bring a new coordinator and some new coaches in that you might not need to blow it up, so to speak, on the defense. You just need to add things and move things around, and schemes should help. I think they're looking to upgrade would be their offense because they need they know that they need to be able to score more than 18 to 20 points per game in order to have an opportunity to win games where the defense is going to give up points. I'm guessing you look at Seattle over the season. I bet you they gave up some significant yards and points over the season. They weren't holding everybody to 14 points, so you're still going to have to score. I think they're more focused on offense right now. They feel that they have the players on defense if you just add a couple here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see how they add enough pieces to make that improvement on offense a reality. Like, there's a couple people in the chat. Jamie the Yinzer says, sign Gainwell, trade some assets for some wide receivers. Clearly, we know wide receiver is a position of need. Juan Carlos says, no more culture stuff. Get assets. Trade TJ. Go younger and faster on D. Get playmakers on offense. I don't know how realistic that is. Let's just be honest. I'm going to start with that. But I do think, Schefter had an interesting tweet. I want to say it was late last night, early this morning, about just what you can get when you trade a high level, what's still seen as an elite piece, maybe near the top of their game. So when Seattle traded Russell Wilson a couple years ago, they got all kinds of top end picks, turned those picks into a starting left tackle, a couple of linebackers, Devin Witherspoon. The only piece the Steelers have that would approach being able to get that level of return would be TJ Watt. But I think we both agree that we don't see that happening anytime soon. Do they need to consider a move like that, though, to get the influx of young talent that they need?
Well, those were all draft picks, right? They got for that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Because first of all, you're not going to get that for TJ Watt. He's 30, soon to be 32. He's making 40 some million bucks, and he plays a position where, yes, it's important, but nowhere near important than a quarterback, right? Especially when you're looking for a very successful quarterback at the time, and Russell Wilson. If I recall, when he left Seattle and went to Denver, he wasn't considered a bum. That was a shock.
Right.
Like, wow, they're getting this guy. So I don't think you get that type of return at all in terms of picks for TJ Watt. So I think that might be a moot point because who are you going to give up that many picks for a 32-year-old that had a collapsed lung? And,
I'm not, but I don't know if there are teams out there that feel like they're a pass rusher away. I also don't think the point about Russell Wilson still being near the top of his game when Seattle traded him is a good one. But I still think people were probably somewhat surprised at the level of return that Denver gave up in that deal. Yeah. So there's all it takes is one team to be like, yeah, we're just a pass rusher away for you to snake a first round pick from somebody.
I just don't see that happening, nor do I think it would happen. I think they just roll with what they have. I just don't think the return would be good, even though you said all you need is one team. I don't know why one team would bid against themselves to be able to get TJ Watt. I still think TJ is a very good player, and I think we tend to forget that because he didn't have a great last year, and the end of the year before that, he hasn't had ever since those 22 and a half sacks. He hasn't been dominant. He's had a couple average years, been banged up a little bit here and there, making a lot of money. So I still think he's a very, very good player. Maybe top 5 defensive players in the league. It's hard to say because top 3 or 4 edge rushers, maybe. I'll put it that way.
When he's playing at his best, yeah, no doubt. He's one of the top 3 defensive players in the league.
Yes.
But we just haven't seen that.
Yeah. Maybe you take a chance that, Patrick Graham and I don't even know. You got the outside linebacker coach that come from college. I don't know what he's going to be able to do. Maybe they can unlock him somehow with the new defensive coordinator and new defensive staff. I would like to at least find out. But if you find out, you might find out something you don't want to find out. Then you're screwed, right?
Right.
You
And
can't
this
move him
is
at
what
all.
leads me back around to, and this is going to be, I think, the overwhelming philosophy for the organization. And they look at it in a slightly different light than fans. But I think the philosophy going into 2026 for this organization is one more kick at the can, right? Just to see what we can do with what we have, because it may blow up spectacularly, right? Like Rodgers may come back and may not be even what he was this year. McCarthy, after a year out of the game, may be somewhat out of touch. They may not have the weapons available on offense. The defense, at least the impact players, the prior impact players, Watt, Hayward, Ramsey, are getting older. Your younger up and coming players may not quite reach the level that we think they're capable of, even though I really like Derek Harmon. I really like Nick Herbig. I really like the way Joey Porter Jr. played the bulk of this season, especially down the stretch. So, like, if it doesn't hit, okay, then you go 6-11 and you don't necessarily blow it up, but you move on from a lot of the big pieces in 2027. That's what I mean by this feels like an extension of the core that they've had in place for the bulk of the last 5 years, right? Like,
I mean, don't you want to take another shot to see what the new coaching staff can do with this group for the most
well,
part? Of course, you have to add some players, but
I think, like I've said, given what's available at the quarterback position out there, both in free agency and in the draft, I can live with it. I'm not as excited as I would have been at going all new blood and a fresh start from top to bottom. But I understand that we're also dealing in reality here, and this is an organization that's never going to look for a full-on reboot.
no,
So
nor should.
if this is the another stopgap year, which it feels like it will be, I'm just looking for ways then to improve as much around the edges as you can. By edges, I mean the edges of the roster. Like, I need a number 2 wide receiver, which isn't really an edge of the roster. That's a core piece. Like, I need more from my secondary. I need more from the pass rush, in particular TJ Watt. Like, I gotta have all those things this year for me to feel like 2026 is going to be anything more than just another 9 or 10 win season with an early exit.
But if you like your coaching staff that you bring in with a new feel to it, new philosophy, doesn't that at least give you some hope that these players are still good enough? You just needed a different direction.
Well, it gives me reason to watch and see what happens with it for a year. I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm
I'm
hopeful
not saying more than
necessarily.
a year. Yeah, same with the quarterback. I'm quite sure if there was some stud free agent quarterback they can get a hold of, that they wouldn't be so thrilled to bring back Aaron Rodgers. But that guy's not out there.
Yeah, and so like I said, if it's 1 year of, hey, kicking the can down the road, I'm not excited about it, but I understand their philosophy from that point of view. I just look, the one of the main reasons you brought Mike McCarthy in is to find the next quarterback as well, right? And understanding that quarterback isn't necessarily out there this offseason. And maybe you think that it may even be the guy who's on your roster who you drafted in the 6th round a year ago. Or at the very least, you want to see if he can be that guy. Um, let's start building towards that then. Like, let's start building towards McCarthy and a new quarterback and seeing what we have there. It's not a knock against Rodgers, but if you're going to start to build towards that, even if it means you're building towards next year in 2027, then collecting assets for this year's and next year's draft would be important, or collecting young players.
Do you know over the past 14 seasons, your Seattle Seahawks have only had one losing season? They hovered around 10 wins, 11 wins, 9 wins. Then bang, 14 wins, Super Bowl. Last year, they didn't even make the freaking playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs the last 2 years.
Right.
Then before you know, boom, right in the Super Bowl, because you get Mike McDonald in here
Mm-hmm.
and he puts things together for a year. The next thing you know is a Super Bowl. What my point is, if you're staying all within that 8, 9, 10 win season, sort of like how Art Rooney wants to do, that you might catch lightning in a bottle, Seattle just did that this year.
How'd they do it, though?
Well,
They took a swing on a quarterback, right? And they stacked up a ton of talent on the defensive side of the ball.
yeah. Well, you have to give the new guy a little bit of time to put his stamp on it, right? What I'm saying is they're always right there in the mix in a really, really difficult division for the most part over the past 10 to 15 years. There's a couple of years that maybe they weren't
But
that
you could
good.
argue the AFC North is a really tough division, too.
Oh, what I'm saying is when you're saying Art Rooney, I'm not saying you, just people in general saying Art's happy to be 8, 9, 10 win seasons and get to the playoffs. Although Seattle just showed you is if you do catch that lightning in the bottle one time, that you can win the Super Bowl by hovering around the 8, 9, 10 wins every single year.
Yeah, I
That's
can
all I'm
see
saying.
that to an extent, but you've also got to be working towards it. Like, it can't be Seattle's plan seems to have been a couple of years in the making. And for a minute, a hot minute, they thought Geno was going to be that guy. They saw the error of that way and were lucky enough to land on Sam Darnold, who again isn't a top flight quarterback, but was good enough at doing some of the stuff you talked about earlier, not turning the ball over, just doing what's asked of him,
Hey,
that it was enough.
that was that wasn't a slam dunk signing right there.
No, they took a swing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, and the Steelers still haven't, I don't think, shown us that they're willing to take that swing at the most important position.
No Justin Fields, no Mitch Trubisky.
No, no, no.
I saw one of the commenters saying that Seattle drafted well. You know who else has drafted well? The Pittsburgh Steelers over the past 3 years. That's why they got about 6 guys they need to be able to sign here this year. What I'm saying is their contract, you either sign them or they're going into their, lame duck season.
Right?
To me, if it's tough decisions of 4 or 5 of those guys, that means you're drafting pretty well. And what I'm talking, I mean, maybe not Broderick Jones, but Joey Porter, Keanu Benton, Nick Herbig, those type of guys. Those are pretty solid draft choices. I mean, then you look at even with the Zach Frazier's and the Mason McCormick's and all those guys, and even the Derek Harmons, they've had some pretty good drafts. So I don't think we can complain about their last 3 drafts.
No, for the most part, I wouldn't have any major complaints. I think, remaking the offensive line had to be a key component of what they were doing. It had to be after they had let it languish for so many years. And they didn't properly handle the transition from the Pouncey, Foster, DeCastro group.
I mean, when you got 5 guys that are playing the same position for like 9 straight years, what the hell am I going to go out and waste draft capital on them for?
Well,
and all of a sudden they catch up to you.
Well, no, because in 2018 and 2019, 19 and 20 actually in particular, you could see that they were reaching the end of the line. Like that 2020 Steelers offense, where Ben had to get rid of the ball in 2.0 seconds, or else he was going to get sacked. And yeah, they started 11-0, and it was great, but we could all see the cliff coming. Like, you needed to start drafting then to replace the Pounceys and the Fosters and the DeCastros and the Villanuevas of the world, and they didn't. They waited a year or two, or they just didn't draft well or very high at those positions. You got like a Dan Moore. And so it didn't work out.
$84 million.
Yeah. And so here you are now, still 5 years later, putting together finally what you think is your offensive line going forward.
You saw with Will Campbell, man. Offensive line typically takes a couple years to really feel comfortable. And for the Steelers, right side of that offensive line to play as well as they did this early in their career is definitely something you have to love.
Yeah, I have no. We talk
they're
about
nowhere near reaching where they're comfortable or good. I think they got a big way to jump to get to the next level, and I think they're capable. All 3 of those guys on the right side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens at left guard. I guess if Sayamalu is done or they let him walk, then it's probably just Spencer Anderson stepping
He's
in
like,
there.
I saw his market value is like 10, 11 million bucks. Seems like a lot.
Yeah, a lot for an older guy who's pretty dinged up most of the time as well. I still stand by the fact that I'd be totally happy with Dylan Cook being the starting left tackle going into next year. You talk about a young guy who looked good and has room for growth.
Well, I think you don't sign, you don't pick up Broderick Jones' option, but you say
Agreed.
at number 60, go fight him out, man. Best man wins. The other one, see ya, or the other one benched.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
no, I don't have a problem with that at all. And I think, like you said, the right side of the line is built from center out to right tackle. You're solid for the foreseeable future.
Wait till they get good. Wait till they know what they're doing.
I mean, yeah, because they looked really good at times already this year. So I have no problem with that. The other thing that I think is interesting, if we're looking for lessons to take away from Seattle and last night's game, is it took Sam Darnold, 6 years? Or is this his seventh season? It's his seventh season. It took him 6 years to finally figure it out. And we could call last year in Minnesota the year where he really started to figure it out before he fell apart in the last 2 games.
Who was the pass game coordinator? I can't remember.
Pass game coordinator for last year's Minnesota Vikings. What's his name again? Let me see if you can pronounce it.
BA.
No, you got to say his name.
He's the new BA.
Come on, say it. Brian
Angelico.
You can do it. I knew you could do it.
I heard people call him Angelico.
And that's nowhere close, I don't think.
Boy, there's a lot of talk about him, man, just being an absolute football nutcase.
In a good way.
I mean, like no family, no kids, it's like football 24/7. Football.
I mean,
oh, yes.
There's guys like that. For some of them it works, for some of it doesn't. You know, there's a lot fewer of those guys, I think, in today's game who like sleep at the facility and do all that kind of crazy Dick Vermeil stuff. But
don't need to now, man. I mean, everything's
virtual.
You
take your iPad home and watch everything from your office. Exactly.
Big Ben did.
So,
well, Big Ben might took his reel to reel.
Big Ben was taking DVDs home, popping them in
some 8 tracks,
popping them in the Blu-ray.
Oh, you know, what was it? The DVD? Yeah, what was it? The put in your computer hard drive,
CD-ROM.
Yeah, CD-ROMs. Put the CD-ROMs in.
Come on, we know Ben wasn't taking film home.
I heard somebody say something about AB the other day. He was the first one in, last one to leave. Let me guarantee you something about AB. He was not the first one in. He was definitely the last one in. I forget who said that.
Did someone say that seriously?
Yes, some national jamoke.
I mean, credit to him. When he was there and engaged, he worked hard at practice. We could say that much, right?
Oh, he's not a guy who worked harder than him, but saying he's the first one in, last one to leave.
Yeah.
He would be late every single day. I don't know about
AB's world. Everybody else is just living in it. Thanks to Arch for supporting the show. Get down to Archie's on Carson. Look, there's Olympics. There's hockey in the Olympics. And then NHL hockey again after the Olympics.
Curling.
Baseball is coming up. There's all college basketball.
Buccos are going to the freaking World Series now.
All right, pump your brakes. Get to Archie's on Carson, Pittsburgh's best place for food, drinks, and sports. 80-cent wing nights on weeknights, Monday through Thursday. Sandwiches, burgers, great flatbreads, too. The menu is awesome. Of course, they always got ice-cold iron and IC light on draft. So get on down there and get something to drink, something to eat, and watch some games at Archie's on Carson. We appreciate Arch supporting the program.
See, Arch get a stray the other day online.
No, what happened?
He put a picture up of his wings and food, and there was a picture of a non-Iron City beer there. It's like, what do you do? Run out of Iron City?
Look, unfortunately, not everyone, for whatever reason, is always drinking the nectar of the gods.
It was the other Pennsylvania beer, I guess, Central Pennsylvania, maybe. I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
The oldest brewery in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Shall go unnamed.
Well, that's fine. Hey, You drink what you like to drink, and if it works, we'll drink the Iron City and the IC Light and the mango to make up for your mistakes. We're totally
we
fine
get
with
those
that.
new Iron City hats
Next week, buddy. Next week.
I need a damn new one. I got the
We're gonna
Intact HVAC hat on.
Yep. Appreciate them keeping Kaboom warm. Let me go back to Darnold for just a second. Is Sam Darnold an argument that teams need to give their quarterbacks longer to develop? Or is it just an argument that you shouldn't get drafted by a shit organization like the Jets?
I mean, you have to find the right situation. I mean, you put Sam Darnold in New York, he stinks. You put Sam Darnold in Carolina, he stinks. You put Sam Darnold in a good situation with a good coach and players around him in Seattle, then he can be successful. Same with Minnesota. I think a lot of it has to do with what you're surrounded by. I mean, not too many top 5 or 10 picks unless you're the. I mean, even Peyton Manning, what was he? Awful.
I mean, he threw like 40 picks his first year or something ridiculous.
I mean, it was Terry Bradshaw.
Terrible for the first few years.
Bench, didn't he? So you have to be put in the situation, even if you're a top quarterback. I mean, you don't think Mendoza is going to struggle in Vegas this year?
Absolutely,
he's going to struggle. Doesn't mean he's a terrible quarterback. Just means he's going to be in a pretty difficult situation. I think a lot of it has to do with situation. A lot.
So, with that said, we believe in McCarthy and his ability to develop quarterbacks, right?
Oh, yeah, he makes them better. I mean, he works with them all. I mean, you see what he did with Aaron Rodgers, and people say, oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. He would be great. But Aaron Rodgers came into the league with a pretty shitty delivery. And what did Luke Getsy tell us about Tolzien? We put him through quarterback class.
Yep.
That quarterback class is a couple years long to be able to transform yourself and how you do things into the correct ways of doing things. So, I don't know if he did that with Aaron Rodgers, but he may have done that with Aaron Rodgers. So
this is not to be a Will Howard fanboy, but I do think.
Oh, there's another thing I need to talk about. Will Howard.
It's applicable. It can be made applicable to Howard, and even if you're going with Rodgers this year, it should be, especially because he was hurt at the end of training camp last year and didn't get any preseason reps. This should be another year that is a big step forward for Will Howard's development.
Yeah.
Especially getting into the McCarthy system.
Yeah, these knucklehead national people putting out stuff like, well, they really love Will Howard and how he commands the huddle. And dude, he was like never in the huddle this year. I mean, we can all love Will Howard and his potential here, but don't be making it out like, what they saw from him last year is going to decide whether or not he's a good quarterback or not. He did nothing last year. Nothing that could possibly tell you that he's going to be good now or later. So I don't know why this narrative is out there of the Steelers love him, long-term future. He commands the huddle. He's really, really talented. No, you don't know this because we didn't see it. He came in. What did he do? He get hurt 2 weeks into the training camp. No preseason games. He came into the regular season halfway to 3/4 of the way in. Barely took any snaps. If he was lucky, he got a handful of snaps, with the scout team, and he threw with backup receivers after practice. I'm not poo-pooing on Will Howard, but just don't make it out more than what it is right now. And they just don't know.
So what's okay? So if the goal of hiring McCarthy is to maintain a level of competitiveness while you find the next quarterback, and there's a belief within the building, otherwise they wouldn't have drafted him in the first place, that even though he's a 6th-round pick, Will Howard may have some of those abilities that could be accentuated by McCarthy's coaching and his system. What do we get to see, or what do we need to see is probably the better way to ask the question, from Will Howard this year? Because if the Steelers have their preference, it's Rodgers comes back. Rodgers is a starting quarterback this year. He and McCarthy do their damnedest to ride off into the sunset together. We'll see where it goes. It's probably 10-7 and a wild card loss again, but here nor there. that does not leave room for Will Howard to grow anywhere other than behind the scenes for another year.
Yeah, which is quarterback class, right? Put him through class. Have him learn that way. What I think they like about Will Howard is the intangibles. I mean, he's a winner. You saw what he did in college. He's a smart individual. And if you have those as your core base, then you bring McCarthy in to teach him the other stuff, then you might be having something right here. But he got that base already in place, Like I said, a smart kid.
You
knows
rhymed.
how to
You
win.
got that base in place.
He got that base in place, baby. You know what I was seeing the other? What was that guy?
I don't know. I'm not inside your head
No,
right
no,
now.
no. I'm just trying to. I was watching the old Cam Hayward podcast the other day. You know
Okay.
that was that guy ever on? Did you ever go see that guy?
Who? This is going nowhere.
Did you ever go to that guy's concert?
Narrow it down, please. I've been to 1,000 concerts.
I think he came into your place, into your studio one time.
You're not narrowing things down at all.
Forget it.
I mean, that was about.
No, I was trying to set you up, and I didn't know how to set you up on something, so forget it.
All right, you blew it. So
you were supposed to say, "Who's that?" And I was supposed to say, "These nuts." Did you happen to see Cam Hayward and Brian Urlacher and Joey Porter clips on the reels? Urlacher got them all to say "these nuts" like 4 times, and he kept getting Joey Porter over and over and over again.
I've seen that Josh Allen is an expert at that too. I've seen him get people multiple times.
Yeah, I was trying to set you up. I didn't know how to set you up.
Well, they're all more clever than you are, I guess. Urlacher, Allen.
Was he on your podcast? You're supposed to say, "Who's that?" These nuts.
Okay.
I don't know. I never was a these nuts guys.
He's not. But the point about developing the next quarterback then also brings up the question, because I've seen people say, "Oh, they need to draft another quarterback this year." I don't think they do, but is there an idea that 2 young quarterbacks being developed at the same time is better than 1 because you've got maybe twice the opportunity to hit?
What's the other young quarterback?
I don't know. Somebody you take a flyer on in the draft, much like you did with Will Howard. Maybe it's a Trinidad Chambliss. Maybe it's a Carson Beck.
The problem with that is then you're setting yourself to have 2 inexperienced quarterbacks behind your 43-year-old. I don't think you want that.
I don't think so
Aaron
either.
Rodgers. You want your guy who's a solid starter and a guy you want to develop. You don't want 43-year-old, no snaps.
I'm with you. I've just heard it thrown out there by people.
That's the way I look. And they're not going to keep 4. And if you throw Trinidad Chambliss on the practice squad, he'll get picked up like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that's possible unless you're willing to go with 2 very, very, very young guys. Unless you sign the guy, you draft him, then you're like, see how they do in training camp. And then you feel comfortable with Will Howard. Say, you know what? He's going to be our number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get rid of Mason just because he's
friend of the program.
Started like 30 damn games in his life.
Yeah. So. What'd you think, by the way, about Ohio State hiring Arthur Smith?
That's the first thing I thought of. Boy, that NIL money all of a sudden hit.
I guess. If you're a tight end being recruited by Ohio State, you're real excited.
Yeah, they're going to pick up Jonnu Smith.
If you're Jonnu Smith, you're searching for that final year of eligibility somewhere. Thanks to our good friends at Impact HVAC for supporting the show. You see Kaboom's got the hat on. They've come out and worked on his furnace a couple times this winter to make sure it's working as well as it can be. They've replaced the one in my house, literally right behind that door back there. They do great work. And you can get in touch with them anytime by messaging them on Facebook at Impact HVAC PGH or just giving them a call, 412-297-1852. A couple days of frigid cold left. And then, of course, everything will thaw, and then it'll freeze again. And the next month, it'll just be mud season. Regardless, you want to stay warm or cool when the summer gets here. They're the people to take care of you, Impact HVAC, and we appreciate them supporting the program. So you mentioned this before we started the show. I already know how excited you are about it, but the Pittsburgh Pirates with a big move, kaboom. Marcell Ozuna, $12 million for a one-year deal. There is a mutual option.
Why didn't you just pull up John Heyman's tweet rather than Ken Rosenthal crediting John Heyman?
Because it's the first one I saw. So I just snapped a thing of it real quick, pulled it up. If Marcell Ozuna is anything like the guy he was the year before last, like 2023, 2024, it's actually a legitimate signing. Now, he's 35 years old and coming off of a hip injury that made him look like crap last year. So there's a good chance it could be a terrible signing too. But he's a DH, probably means the end of the Andrew McCutchen era, part 2 in Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah, it's, put it this way, I guess they're trying, right? It's not Rowdy Tellez. It's not, what's that bum they signed last year? Tommy Pham. It's none of those guys. At least it's legit major league ball players, at least at one point in their career. You have to be a little bit skeptical of the numbers going down, the age.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates here. I'll take what I can get, right?
I mean, 2 through 6 in the lineup now, they do have a little bit of pop. Like,
wow, we're really taking a leap of faith on that damn center fielder if he doesn't get his head screwed on straight.
Fair, but we know he can hit.
Can he? 200.
Well, I should say can hit with power when he does hit. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, he gets his head screwed on straight. You have Reynolds doesn't take
O'Hearn,
his
who they brought
April
in.
off like he normally does. Is he take off April or does he take off May? I can't remember which Reynolds.
I can't remember.
His slow starter? I can't remember.
He has been a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I think the catcher's still somewhat of an issue. Third base is still an issue. And people think that you're bringing Connor Griffin up and he's just going to turn into goddamn Alex Rodriguez. Might eventually, but slow your roll on that. But, I mean, they got better players than they have in a year. I mean, their payroll is like $105 million now.
And they still got Skeens. So every 5th day, as long as you can score 3 runs, you should win.
Yeah, and they, the guys they picked up are power hitters. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Like something that they didn't have last year.
And lefty power hitters until they got to Ozuna, who's a right-handed hitter, who only has 1 career home run at PNC Park for what it's worth. But like
we won't hear much about that.
O'Hearn, Lau, I hear his name said different ways all the time. The second baseman from Tampa. Those are left-handed bats that should be able to take advantage of the short porch and right. Should. It's the Pirates. So
short porch. Why is there no short porch in left field? If you hit it down the left field line, it's really short.
That's true. What is it, 320 down the left field line?
Yeah, but it gets out to 410 real quick.
Real quick, kids.
I don't know, man. You still are expecting Bubba Chandler, how many career starts does he have?
A dozen, maybe, if that.
You're hoping he's there. You hope Mitch Keller continues to play continues to pitch like a top 3 guy. You hope Jared Jones doesn't blow out his shoulder. But isn't that everything with ball?
4 career starts for Bubba Chandler. I was way off.
Yeah, so who's their freaking closer? Santana? I don't even know.
It's a good question. Don't know either. It's not even Valentine's Day yet. Pitchers and catchers are
new catcher. They got a new hitting coach. They got a Dwarney Kelly.
Somebody
baseball. They didn't know Dwarney Kelly was from Mount Lebanon. Who the hell was that? I don't know. Maybe it was Callis. Somebody weird. I'm like,
he doesn't know anything.
Really?
Doesn't know anything.
No, he's from Mount Lebanon. I don't know if it was Callis or not. It was somebody like that.
All right. You excited for Olympic hockey?
So when is it?
Starts tomorrow, and then the Americans start on Wednesday.
Was it pool play?
Yeah. Yep. Got to play your 3 pool games, and then it goes to elimination. You excited? Come on.
So
Olympic
I'm
hockey's
confused
fun,
here.
man.
You go to pool play. What does that have to do with the elimination? Just set you up with
Seeding.
So they're just saying, here's these 3 extra games
Yep.
we want you to play, but it really doesn't make a difference because you're just going to be seeded anyways.
Well, it does make a difference. It makes a difference.
How about if you get one lucky win over somebody and makes you the 1 seed and you really suck?
Why do you have to find the worst?
I don't think the Americans are going to be any good, although I hope the Kachucks beat the hell out of people.
Okay. That's all you care about, right?
That's all I do care about. I'm not going to watch that crap. The Olympics.
Not going to watch that crap. I'm too cool for that. Yeah.
We only do wake up and go to some.
The top 4 teams get a bye to the quarterfinals, by the way. So it does matter, the pool play.
Do you watch Bad Bunny? Or is Bad Bunny? You probably watched Kid Rock because what's her name?
No.
Gabby Barrett was on there.
No. We watched Bad Bunny. I thought it was okay. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. Luckily, our neighbor who lives down the street was at the same Super Bowl party.
Santoral?
And she's Puerto Rican, so she was able to translate a lot of it for us because, like, my Spanish 3 level Espanol wasn't going to break through and have me understanding much of it. But hey, as halftime shows go.
I think about it, man. We have so many options in life.
Yeah.
What to watch. Why can't I have multiple Super Bowl shows? If I don't like this guy, I'm going to turn on this guy. What's wrong with that?
You do your thing. Some people don't even watch the halftime show. They get up and use the bathroom and get something to eat.
It's just funny. It's the same thing every year. This is the worst one ever. This was the best one ever. This was
the worst one. No. The reactions are always extreme to it, no matter what.
I mean, I don't know anything about Bad Bunny. I don't know anything about Gabby Barrett. I don't know anything. I know Kid Rock because that's my growing up in my, heyday.
Your sweet spot.
But honestly, I mean, why can't we, in this time of streaming, just have multiple type of shows? If I don't want to watch Bad Bunny, I'll go watch Kid Rock. If I don't want to watch Kid Rock, I'll watch Bad Bunny.
Nothing stopping you.
I don't see anything problem with that. I wonder if this will end up starting something. Didn't they used to have? They used to have like some sort of halftime shows. It was like the Puppy Bowl or something, right?
No, there was the year. Like no, there was the year. Remember where this is way back when? This is like in the early '90s, early to mid '90s, where In Living Color did like a live halftime show.
Yeah.
As opposed to whatever the halftime show really was that year. I think it was like Gloria Estefan or something. So there's always going to be breakthrough moments where somebody tries to provide an alternative because they think what's been provided isn't good enough. You watch what you want to watch. I don't care. I watched Bad Bunny. I didn't understand any of I understood like every 25th word. And I found out after the fact that all those bushes were really people dressed up as bushes. Who knew?
I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Any problem with Kenneth Walker III as MVP?
He had 150 yards and 2 touches, right?
That was my pick too. I had people arguing with me that it could have been.
Did you vote?
No, I did not.
Who else was the opportunity? Jason Myers and his 5 20-yard field goals?
Yeah, that's what my argument was. Without Kenneth Walker, Jason Myers doesn't kick 5 chip shots. So you could have gone with a defensive player if there would have been one breakthrough defensive performance, but there wasn't. Really. I mean, there were a couple guys with multiple sacks, and I want to say one of those 3 guys with multiple sacks also had a fumble recovery. Who would it have been? One of the defensive linemen. But, I mean...
Maybe it was Bad Bunny.
He did have a football with him. So, maybe... it was Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy had a first fumble recovery and a pair of sacks. So, you could have made an argument for him, maybe.
Nobody wants to see a defensive player or a kicker win the MVP.
Kicker would have been funny. You got to admit, kicker winning an MVP would have been funny.
You remember the Bud Bowl?
Yes. My daughter, she goes off and buys stuff sometimes and has no idea what she's getting. She had a Bud Bowl hoodie on the other day. I was like, you don't even know what the Bud Bowl is. She's like, no. I was like, it was the best thing ever. It was animated beer bottles playing football against each other during the Super Bowl.
The commercials, right?
And the look on her face was just utter disgust. Like, that entertained you? What's wrong with you? Like, this is the 80s. What do you want?
Yes.
Get off my back.
Spud. Oh, that was different, though. Spud McKenzie was different. But remember Spud? That was probably
I remember Spud
mid to late 80s.
Remember Max Headroom?
Max Headroom was in Back to the Future, wasn't he?
No, he was.
Wasn't he in the Yesterday Cafe with Biff?
No, there was something that looked like Max Headroom in that, but it wasn't the real Max Headroom. Ooh, we're referencing stuff from the mid 80s that no one under the age of 40 has any idea what we're talking about. So I think that's our sign to wrap it up. Are you excited for Monday Night Raw?
Sure.
Will Liv Morgan make her choice about who she's going to face at WrestleMania?
What are we, 3 weeks away? 2 weeks away?
From WrestleMania?
Oh, from Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? So?
I'm telling you, Elimination Chamber. Somebody has to make a decision.
So who does she choose? Come on. You're supposed to have these predictions, Mr. WWE.com.
I think it's going to be Jade Cargill.
Congratulations, by the way, to Little Kaboom, who I saw medaled in his wrestling event over the weekend. The next ring general.
The 12-year-old.
Little Kaboom.
A 12-hour day where...
What was the picture, by the way? What was the picture of IUP, the IUP sign supposed to be? Was it just referencing that you were at IUP? Because it was the fuzziest, blurriest picture I've ever seen.
Oh, it was dark, and I had to go buy my ticket beforehand. And I just snapped a picture of IUP. It was, what a miserable place that is.
Lovely.
I'm a Cal U guy, but well, it's not like the kid is the freaking second coming of Kurt Angle. It's his first year. He's only won a couple matches all year, but persevered. He
nice.
Stuck with it, which I can't say about a lot of the kids that started out in their first year of wrestling. That's a different freaking breed of people there, man.
Yeah, it is.
Different breed.
All right, that's going to do it for today. We'll do it again later in the week. I'm sure Kaboom will have some really important insights on the Olympic hockey. And we'll have more complaints about the Pirates with spring training.
Steelers still have to hire a tight ends coach.
Yeah, that seems like it's well out of the realm of priorities for them right now. Like, they're just not concerned.
I think they already know, but it's just a matter of...
Maybe we'll have that to talk about later.
T's.
Some T's will be crossed. Some I's will be dotted.
We appreciate... Then we're going, what's today? I don't even know what today is.
Today's Monday.
So
1 month till free agency, bud.
2 weeks until the combine. 2 weeks and 1 day until the combine.
There you go. Get ready for it. Big time out in Indianapolis.
Mike McCarthy and Omar Khan will be telling us all the intricate details.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for today. We will talk to Ians again later in the week. Thanks for supporting the program. And make sure you're following on all the social medias at Kaboly+Mack and subscribed on YouTube as well. We'll talk to Ians again soon.